When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
For now, though, we move on to another subject, and that's Valérie Plante, the mayor of Montreal, calling for a complete ban on assault weapons before the federal government's firearm buyback program begins in the fall. The request comes just ahead of the 35th anniversary of the Ecole Polytechnique massacre, which killed 14 women. Plante urging the government to implement stricter gun control measures. The federal government has banned nearly 2,000 assault-style firearms. With more on this, let's go to Heidi Rathjen, founder of the Coalition of Gun Control, a Polytechnique survivor, and the founder of PolyRemembers. Heidi, welcome back to the program.
Hi, thank you for having me.
What is your take? I imagine you're in agreement with what Valérie Plante is asking for here, but tell us more.
Well, yes, absolutely. Valérie Plante, the city of Montreal, supports our call to ban assault weapons, and this has been true over 35 years. I was there in 1990, so shortly after the massacre, after the students launched a petition to ban assault weapons. And I remember we also went to City Hall, and Mayor Jean Doré at the time, also endorsed our request, our petition. And this has been true over the years, and we really appreciate the mayor coming out and continuing to support our campaign to ban assault weapons in Canada, which is a measure that even though, I think most Canadians think they're already banned, like the AR-15 and those types of weapons, which is not true. And second, even though the Liberal government promised 3 elections in a row to ban them, we still don't have a ban. And, an election can happen at any day. And so when we got together on Tuesday at City Hall, it was really to, sonner l'alarme, to say, like, time is running out. If the government has not launched its buyback program 4.5 years after they announced they would, in fact, it was supposed to be accomplished and completed by May 2022, and it hasn't even been launched yet. And the government did ban about 1,500 models in 2020. That was really good, but that list is incomplete. There's still hundreds of models that remain legal. Mm-hmm. So given all that, this is like we're at the last minute now. If they don't come forward with a complete ban in the next, we can count it for days. Because the buyback has to be completed before the next election.
Well, and Heidi,
then we lose our 35-year battle.
And you just heard as I came in from break, there's the government is about to hand out checks to pretty much all Canadians. An election is coming. I would make a pretty big bet on that right now. But Heidi, let me ask this to you this way. You've been on the show before. I don't like guns. I've never touched a gun. I don't want to touch a gun. I'm not a fan of guns. Okay, that's my cards are on the table. I'm not a big fan of guns. But over the last little while, I've spoken to people, and probably people who are on ideological, different sides with you ideologically, like conservative senators. I've also spoken to police officers on the subject of guns. And every time I talk to them, one of the questions I ask is, do we know the violent crime that's happening in this country? What type of guns are being used? Are they guns that were purchased legally or illegally? It's not lost on me. The absolutely horrific massacre that happened in New Brunswick. The guns, the guy who did this did it with illegal guns, right? And to me, I'm feeling that right now, with all the laws that we do have in place and the bans that are in effect, the better way to tackle gun crime would be to go after the illegal guns. That's where the focus should be. What do you say to that? As far as the bans that we have in the country, they've gone pretty far. And right now, to exert effort, we should be exerting that effort in getting rid of the illegal importation of guns.
Well, why can't we do both?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we tackle the illegal market? And that's a question of police operations and resources. And why can't we control legal guns? Because, yes, you're right, a lot of the crime we see in the streets are with illegal guns, but most mass shootings are committed with legal guns. And I would argue, as somebody who's been a witness, I was there, and I work with all the families and have seen the devastation that one assault weapon in the hands of one individual can cause. It is totally worth it to ban these weapons to prevent another mass shooting. And we've had several since Polytechnique, and most of them, I mean, the Nova Scotia one was an outlier, and the gun lobby keeps pointing to that to justify not banning assault weapons, while all the other ones at Dawson and Concordia and the Mosque and, the Metropolis, and across the country, others, police shootings, mass shootings committed with legal guns and long guns. So you can do two things at the same time. And another aspect that's always pushed aside by the gun lobby, by the conservatives, is domestic murders. When a gun is in the home, a woman, a victim of domestic violence, is 12 times more likely to end up dead than if there is no gun. So we need controls on all guns. Of course, illegal guns should be, you have to fight against illegal guns. They're illegal, but you can't pass more laws to make guns more legal. That's up to the police to use the tools they have. And the Bill C-21 that we fought for, that passed last year at this time, a little bit less than a year ago, contains better tools for police to better fight the illegal market. So, I mean, I reject the argument that there's one solution that we have to focus on when the problem of the misuse of guns is it's a faceted problem in different circumstances. It's different types of guns, and it's different solutions that will help prevent the misuse.
Heidi, I would love
banning assault weapons.
Yeah, and Heidi, I would love that you and others, you should be shouting from the rooftop the stats on the legal guns being used in a crime. I mean, that makes your case, right? So, if you've got the stats that 90% of mass shootings are being done with legal guns, like, boy, man, am I all ears, right? And now you've got me. So, it's just too often on this show when I'm talking to police officials, that kind of stuff, or city officials, like I'll have the public security people of the city of Montreal, and they don't have the numbers. They can't tell me. Yeah. And that to me is glaring. Like, I want those hard stats. You present me with data, I'm on your side, right? So I'd love to see more of that.
Sure, and the other thing is a lot of the illegal guns come from across the border, most of the handguns. But a lot of handguns, illegal handguns, and other illegal guns are stolen from legal gun owners. Every year there's about 4,000 guns that are stolen from legal owners. They end up in the hands of criminals by definition. That is another source of the illegal market. So the better you control the legal market, the better you have restrictions on the type of guns that are allowed, and how they're stored and how they're transferred, the less likely these guns will end up in the wrong hands. And all these measures are measures that the gun lobby and the conservatives oppose because they have the NRA mentality where they think there should be no restrictions on guns for the common citizen. And they have the money. I mean, the gun lobby and the conservatives, we are a group of volunteers who are made up of victims of mass shootings. We have no money, and, all we have is our voice, and we have our website, we have all the statistics, and when we have the opportunity, of course, we communicate them. But we're up against this huge machine that they have millions of dollars, the gun lobby, to disseminate all their disinformation and their propaganda.
Heidi?
And they have, they're effective. What can I say?
Heidi, we do have to leave it there. Of course, it looks like an election is a-coming, and we could also talk about the Liberals and some of their failures on this subject. But we do have to leave it there. Heidi, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Heidi Rathjen is founder of the Coalition of Gun Control and a Polytechnique survivor.